Okay, so today we're going to be making candy apples, and this is my version of the Jolly Rancher flavored candy apple. I'm making a small batch here, so I have my 2 cups of sugar here, and you want to make sure you have a heavy, durable pot as well, because that's going to make all the difference to keep that candy at a certain temperature once it's cooked, and also to get the apple that you desire as far as, you know, the presentation. You also need a thermometer, a candy thermometer. This can be used for multiple things, but it can also be used for candy. I also have my measuring cup here, and you'll also need one of these durable spoons here as well. Master green. I want more like a light green, so I'm going to be using a combination of both here. First we're going to get started here on the mixture here, so give me just a moment. So I'm back. I had to get some stuff together I realized I didn't have here. Okay, so I got everything. I had to get my Jolly Ranchers. These are the green apple flavor, and sometimes some of them can be a little sticky. I've used granulated sugar and kind of stirred them up in there. Leaf green and lemon yellow here by Chefmaster, and I use a combination of both. Sometimes I use Chefmaster, sometimes I use AmeriColor. I really don't have a preference. And I also have the L'Oreal Tropical Punch flavor for the candy apple. And so I'm getting my mixture here together. So I have my 2 cups of sugar, 1/2 cup here of light corn syrup for the candy apples, and this is for the mixture. I'm going to be cooking on the stove until it gets to 300 degrees, and make sure it gets to that temperature. But before I get to that temperature, so here's my 1/2 cup of water here, and also I'm going to add in my Chefmaster color for the apple. I want it to be like a really pretty, almost like a neon colored green. So I'm going to use a combination of both, the green and then the lemon yellow, just to give it a little kick as far as color is concerned. Use like my teaspoon measure. And I always like to start as small as possible and add more if necessary to kind of get, so this is 1/4 a teaspoon. And you really, normally, you know, you don't need much. Use just a little dab of yellow. And like I say, you start small and you build from there, because you don't want to overpower it and not achieve the color that you want. So less is best. And you want to just start stirring it until it's evenly mixed. And one other thing, you always want to make sure you shake it really well, which I didn't do, but that's a little side note. I always make sure you shake very well, vigorously, so that you get So I'm just going to stir this really well before putting, and also another thing, you want to make sure you got a heavy pot. This is a heavy durable pot because it's going to be key in making sure you achieve and maintain the heat to cook the apple as well as dip the apple. It's pretty, although I want it a lot lighter. And so you see what I mean as far as going with less is best. I always want to use that, and I'm going to put just a little dab. And you can't stir too much as far as when it's not on the heat, of course. Just a little dab of the white, because again I'm trying to get like to a neon color here. So this is basically just lifting the color, so to speak. Okay, so I had to add just a little bit more of the white. So here we are, kind of got where I needed to be. And here we are. And so now that I've served this, now I'm going to put this on the stove. And the reason I like to use this one, it's adjustable. You don't want to put it all the way down to the bottom of the pot. You basically want to clip it so it still has a little room, because you want to get a good temperature for where your candy is. So you're going to let this cook to about 200, and I'll say about 220. I like about 220. And then put the flavor in there, which is going to be the Lorian Tropical Punch for the Jolly Rancher. Okay, so while that mixture is cooking to about 220, and prep these as well. Because I didn't tell you guys about this. I'm gonna get this together. You're going to need the candy apple bamboo lollipop sticks. So I have 6 of them. So get out 6 of these. Like so. Put the rest up. Okay. So also, you want to make sure that thoroughly white out. Okay, so just want to take these out. And just wipe them off. And like I said, I use a combination of lemon juice and distilled white vinegar. That's what I prefer. And basically I don't boil them or anything like that, because I don't want to, I want to be able to preserve the apple in its beautiful color, and I don't like boiling, so what I will do is put them in my kitchen sink and run hot water until it's full to the top, and where the apples can be dispensed over in there, and cover the apple basically, and in other words submerged in there, and then I put in my 4 to 5 tablespoons of lemon juice, and also about 3 tablespoons of vinegar as well, and I allow them to sit in that. And here's my pan also for my mixture. So also you want to set that apple down and you gently, I hope you all can see this, but you want to set it down and just press. You don't want to go all the way down, you just want to go down far enough. And so if you set it down, then you got a perfect connection with the apple. And the next one, and these are some beautiful apples. You'll do the same thing and just press gently. And you want to make sure that you have, so that apple doesn't come off. Also, now that you have the apples, another thing that I do here is basically I just want to make sure to go around here, make sure, because sometimes it forms a little juice, so do that here. All of them are fine, but you want to make sure that you don't have any juice sitting on top. These are fresh apples. And another thing, I use this, that's another thing I failed to tell you, I use this and once I dip my apples, I use this to put them on here, and I don't have to worry about them sticking, or I don't have to worry about it spraying. Take it like so. Oh, these are pretty. And I just like to shake it off. And you'll see some bubbles try to form. What? You do. All right, let's get it.
It's unbelievable to me as a pediatrician that I'm now having to worry about my patients coming down with the measles.
It seems like we're going backwards.
It feels like we're going backwards in time.
That is a pretty apple.
So just because you don't think you have measles doesn't mean you're not contagious. Infected people can spread the virus to others from 4 days before vaccinated immediately.
4 to 10-month prison sentence for actress Felicity Huffman. Huffman is one of 13 parents to plead guilty as part of a national.
Normalized doctors and nurses who don't meet a standard of care.
And these are larger apples than the smaller ones. I made a small batch with the 2 cups of sugar.